This is Aaron Jeffery, and you're listening to Vibe 105.
This is Vibe Talks, exclusively on Vibe 105.
Hey everybody, this is Giancarlo Aulino reporting for Vibe 105 with a Vibe Talks segment, and I'm happy to be joined by my guest today who's making his return here to the Vibe 105 airwaves. He is making Canada proud in Bellator MMA. He is Aaron Jeffery. How you doing, Aaron?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. And Aaron, another big fight coming up there. You're taking on Dalton Rosta, who is highly touted middleweight in the division there in Bellator. Just can you talk to us about how this fight came about and what made you want to accept the one with Dalton Rosta?
No special story or anything really. I had a bit of downtime after the last fight, like maybe a month without any news. And then they offered me this fight. I said, yeah, for sure. I was happy that Bellator was still willing to give me someone above me in the ranks. I had the opportunity to move my way up again. So yeah, I was pumped and accepted right away.
And this fight too, like the rankings right now, obviously your last fight didn't go according to plan there, but with the rankings the way it is, were you surprised that, with Salter coming out of it and your ranking where it was that Rosta and yourself drew together?
Not really. There's a few other guys that were already matched up and some guys that fought recently. And then obviously Salter just retired. So I think this fight makes sense for the division.
And looking forward to some of these fights in the division, like Johnny Eblen, the champion, Gegard Mousasi's there. We still don't know whether he's going to fight again or not, but Fabian Edwards now challenging for the title. What would you say about the Bellator middleweight division right now and just how everything's progressing?
It's pretty stacked, man. The top 10 is solid. The UFC, Bellator, whatever, sometimes the division's they're waxing and waning, right? Sometimes it's all killers, and then sometimes it's some guys you never heard of or just not the cream of the crop kind of guys. But I think right now the middleweight division in Bellator is pretty stacked.
And you're training for this. Was it devoted most of the time at Killcliff, or were you also in Canada as well?
Pretty much half and half. I usually do 4 or 5 weeks down at Killcliff in Florida, and then the other half back in Canada. I do the first half of camp there, get a lot of hard rounds with big guys and stuff. And then I come back here and kind of just sharpen up and stay technical and work on specifics.
And who are some of the fighters on the Canada side of things that you find yourself working on most and more frequently as you prepare for your fights?
Some of the fighters you said?
Yeah, the Canadian ones. When you're in Canada, who do you find yourself best that you work well with in terms of your style?
One of my good buddies, Zach Powell, he's a pro fighter. What's his record, Kev? 6-1, 7-1? He's 6-1. He's a lightweight, but he's pretty big right now, and he's kind of got a similar style to Rasta. So me and him have been doing a lot of work together. But our gym is solid, man. Niagara Top Team here in St. Catharines. A lot of up and coming guys. Another one of my good friends, Kevin Popowick, me and him trained together a bunch. He's coming off 5 finishes in a row. Mike Malott trains here, UFC fighter, welterweight. We got a solid crew, man.
And Mike Malott, obviously, his fight there in Vancouver, electric crowd. So what is it like now, the Canadian MMA scene? We've seen also other ones like Diana Babitsa, Kyle Nelson. So just this whole Canadian MMA scene, it's popping right now, especially with yourself and Bellator.
Yeah, man, it's pretty sick. And Jasmine Jastovicius, the other girl that trains at our gym. It's really cool, man. It seems like it's been a while since we've had this kind of thing happening in Canada, and a bunch of those people that you just named are all training at Niagara Top Team too. Kyle Nelson trains here, so we got kind of a hub of high level fighters here right now. So yeah, it's pretty sick.
It's great to see too, because for a long time, GSP, Rory McDonald, there was a little bit of that void. Do you think it's starting to be filled right now with this up and coming crop, especially yourself too? What are you seeing out of just some of the up and coming fighters now?
Yeah, for sure, man. And I think like attracts like. Now that we have some bigger name guys in our gym and a pretty good pro team, we have guys traveling here often to train. A couple guys from out west, a couple big middleweights actually just came to train here. One guy came here for like a week, and him and his girlfriend just decided to make the move. They just packed up all their shit, and they're actually, I think they're arriving here today from out west. So hopefully that kind of thing keeps happening. Other fighters in Canada are kind of noticing that we've got a solid spot, and more guys are coming out to train.
And for yourself, when you're a part of this group of Canadian MMA fighters and you're just seeing the development constantly, what do you hope will be the future like? Do you think that we'll see a lot more cards like UFC, Bellator, PFL? Like, do you think more will start to come back to Canada again?
I hope so, man. It would be nice for us to fight on home soil and kind of be the home team. I think the UFC is coming back. I think they announced that. It would be cool to get Bellator back here for sure. I would love that.
And if there's a destination, I know you're competing there in Niagara, but like Toronto, would it matter for you if it was close by, or anywhere in Canada would be okay for you?
Yeah, right here in Thorold at the Thorold Community Center. That's my dream venue.
Is there like an event you've been around, like maybe as a kid, or like anything memorable to stick out from just going around there? Or was just because it's a local?
The Thorold Community Center, you mean? It's because it's like a 3-minute walk from my house. So
Oh, nice.
I can just roll out of bed and fight, and then come back home and get straight back into bed, man.
That's great. And even transitioning now to Killcliff, who have been the guys that you find yourself working majority of the time with over there?
Yeah, my buddy Impa Kasanganai, he actually fights this weekend, PFL. I think he's in like the semifinals now, light heavyweight. Me and him did the majority of the work together this time. Brendan Allen was down there for a bit. I got some work with him. Tuco, Marc-Andre Barrio, I usually work with him a bunch when I'm down there. Garrett Fosdick, he's another guy that's down there, one of the other middleweights. I do a lot of work with him. Yeah, it's a sick gym, man. Obviously there's guys in and out all the time. So many guys that are in like UFC, Bellator 1. So yeah, it's good to be able to train down there too.
And also, like, you're splitting time, so when you're in Florida, is there, I know fans like to make up rivalries and stuff, but is there more to that whole rivalry in Florida there between the gyms of American Top Team and Killcliff?
I don't know. I mean, when I'm there, I don't like hear much about it. Guys in the gym definitely aren't talking about it all the time. They do seem to get matched up with each other pretty often though. So, I'm sure there's something to it.
And just Dalton Rosta, like, what are you expecting out of him coming into this fight?
I think he's going to come in and fight hard in the first round for sure. I've said it a bunch of times before. He's super confident. He's undefeated. He's big and strong and explosive. So I expect a hard fight with him, obviously. I think I'm going to break his confidence a little bit. I don't think he's fought anyone near my level, and I think he's going to not enjoy when he gets into an actual fist fight, and he's not just kind of walking all over whoever's in front of him.
You guys had a couple of playful back and forths here on social media. Like, does that different than, do you need to have animosity going into a fight, or do you find that you train better when, everything's chilled and you can just go in there and train?
I don't really care either way. I think I was a little bit more playful with it than he was. Like, I can't remember what the first thing was, but he commented on a post and said, "You're too small and way too slow." And it was like, it just went from 0 to 100 very quick. So I was like trying to be playful with it, but I don't think he's the playful type of guy.
Oh, so you think you got under his skin there with that a little bit?
I don't know if I got under his skin. I just don't think he wanted to have that type of engagement with me. I think he's going to not talk to me at all, or he's going to talk shit. I don't think there's going to be an in-between for him.
And for yourself as a fighter, like, do you enjoy that more? Like, or do you see you need to be emotionally invested just to get the better of yourself, out of your performance?
No, I've never really gone into a fight mad, or I've never even really talked shit or anything before. So it doesn't really matter to me. But if I can get under his skin, I will. Sure, why not?
And you mentioned there, like, he is undefeated. He has an undefeated record. So if you get past him here, become that guy that hands him his first career loss, do you think that will put you right back in the mixer for a title shot?
Yeah, I think so. Eblin's already beat a bunch of guys. A few guys already fought recently. Salter just retired. So, yeah, I think the division's kind of open right now. So, yeah, I think so.
And how do you think that fight plays out, Eblin and Edwards, when they meet there in Ireland?
I think Eblin's going to take it. I think he's just more well-rounded. Edwards is a really good striker, but I think Eblin's going to be able to grind him out. And
a couple final questions here. There's going to be a lot of fights now coming up towards the end of the year, Bellator, UFC. Like, is there one that you're really looking forward to most as a fan?
Good question. This card, this past weekend, was actually one that I was looking forward to a bunch. I thought that Pereira fight was sick, and I was pumped to see him at 205. So if I had one to look forward to, that was probably it.
Do you think he fights Yuri there in the UFC for that light heavyweight title?
I would love to see that. I hope so.
And just before we wrap up here and let you go, how can our listeners and viewers here at Vibe 105 stay up to date with everything you're doing and follow you on social media?
Yeah, on social media everywhere, I'm at AAJ MMA.
Perfect. Highly recommend that follow. And Aaron, I really appreciate you coming back here on Vibe 105 and previewing this upcoming fight. And we wish you all the best here when you take on Dalton Rosta.
Thank you, bro.
Vibe Talks, exclusively on Vibe 105.